For generations, Indigenous peoples and local communities have safeguarded the world's most vital ecosystems. The well-being of our communities and of the Earth itself is inseparable from the health of Indigenous peoples' lands and the peoples who steward them. Extractive threats target bioculturally diverse areas, destroying forests, rivers, and cultures while putting communities and the planet's future at risk. Resilient communities continue to take action, defending customary lands and asserting legal rights to deliver solutions that sustain future generations. In Mesoamerica, 3.7 million hectares of Indigenous peoples and local communities' territories face threats from oil and gas, while 17%, 18.7 million hectares, are threatened by mining concessions. But in Panama, the Cunayala people mark a century of self-governance, showing the world that true sustainability flows from autonomy, tradition, and respect for nature. In the Amazon basin, Indigenous peoples and local communities' lands cover 30% of the Amazon. 12% of those lands, around 31 million hectares, are threatened by oil and gas expansion, and 9.8 million hectares are threatened by mining. In the Colombian Amazon, Indigenous peoples' territorial entities protect over a third of the region, keeping forests intact and the climate safe. And OPIAC is taking legislative action to amplify the covered lands and rights over them. In the Congo Basin, 38% of community forests are threatened by oil and gas, 42% by mining, and 6% by logging. In contrast, in Cameroon, fortress conservation is being replaced with a community-led model where Indigenous people's local knowledge, trust, and shared governance protect forests, wildlife, and livelihoods. In Indonesia, 33.6 million hectares of Indigenous people's lands cover 17% of the country. Threats to these lands include 18% overlap from wood concessions. Meanwhile, in Sumatra, the Dolak Parmanangan community continues to resist corporate expansion, reclaiming fields, defending ancestral graves, and transforming cycles of criminalization into steps towards national recognition. Indigenous peoples living in voluntary isolation and initial contact are some of the most threatened cultures on the planet. The Yavarita Piche corridor, bordering Brazil and Peru, has the highest concentration of Indigenous peoples in voluntary isolation and initial contact, otherwise known as Piasi, and over 537,000 hectares of Piasi reserves within the corridor are overlapped by oil and gas blocks. In North Maluku, Indonesia, the Ohangana Manyawa Indigenous peoples in voluntary isolation are surrounded by nickel concessions that affect their nomadic range, with deforestation and erosion impacting waterways and coasts. Indigenous peoples living in voluntary isolation are the keepers of traditional lifeways. They embody an equilibrium with nature that is a reminder for us all. Removing extractive concessions from their territories and ensuring their nomadic range is protected is essential for their survival. From Mesoamerica to the Amazon, the Congo to Indonesia, these stories show when communities defend their lands, they defend the future of the planet. The Global Alliance of Territorial Communities demands are land rights, recognizing territories and governance, free, prior, and informed consent, nothing about us without us, direct financing, investing in self-determined solutions, protection of life, ending violence and criminalization, and traditional knowledge, respecting knowledge and cultural rights. Indigenous peoples and local communities already hold the answers to the climate crisis. We need support, visibility, and amplification. Join us in demanding urgent action at theanswerisus.org to show the world leaders that the answer is us, all of us, including you.